in order to continue this here four-wheeler project, need a tool. Got looking for my tool. I ain't got a clue where it's at. Somehow my valve spring compressor tool got misplaced, gone, missing, whatever when I moved over here a couple of years ago. So I don't know where my tool is. I need a tool. I don't do hardly any engine work anymore. So, well, I reckon I'm gonna make one. Not a real big head. So, I ain't a Harbor Freight fan, but there's one thing I do get from Harbor Freight quite often is there's a few things that I do go there for, and every time I go there, I buy a clamp of whatever various sizes, because you can't have too many clamps. So, as you can see, I got clamps. Got plenty of clamps. Got bunches of clamps. There you go. Now you can see it. So, we're going to build a valve spring compressing tool. And I got this one. I didn't even use this one. It's just been sitting. Yep, that. Let's see what we got under the scrap bin. And if I'm going to make this, I do want it to where I can change the little spacers out, the rings out on one end, so I can do different size heads. Yeah, I think that'll work. Let's see. I can buy new sockets. Always a good reason to go buy a new socket anyway. So, yeah, we'll use that doohickey. Let's see. On my older deep well sockets, let's see if that'll sit on there. Yep, that looks good. That's gonna be a donor. Alright, let me get set up. We're gonna make this here valve spring compressor tool so we can get started on this head. Alright, start knocking some of this here paint off so we can weld to it. One thing about the Harbor Freight tools, they're not really nice. The clamp. The clamps are made out of mild steel. They're not nice clamps like you'd have with some good cast iron frames. So very weldable. No big deal. I think I want to get that off. Yeah, that's got to come off. Weld that, make a little pin, cut that off. Yeah, we're getting there. Alright. Gonna get this little doohickey here off so I can put that on that. Yeah. let's see. All right, we got that off. We're gonna cut this off flush, weld it to that. That way I can use different sockets for different size valves. About most of the engines I work on anymore is lawnmower engines and stuff like that. So I don't need a proper tool anymore, although it irks the piss out of me that I don't know where mine's at. I got a fair amount of money in it. It was a pneumatic compressor. I really would like to know where it went. But anyway, all right. We're going to cut us a pin off of this. We're going to put that pin right here. This is going here. I'm going to take that socket, cut windows in it. That way I can change sockets, you know, depending on which size valves I'm dealing with. So yeah, that ought to work. Let's get set up to do some cutting. Alright, I got everything ready. Got that little 1/2 inch drive head cut off flat. I got it stuck in the socket. Socket is centered on the bottom, so I'll tack it there, and then we'll weld that. When we get done with that, we'll weld the pin, which I made out of that other piece of metal. We'll be able to weld it down here. I softened the edges on it a little bit. I might put a little piece of leather in between there. That'll be alright. But yeah, I think that's gonna work. It should work. I ain't gonna bore y'all with all the welding and cutting. That's why I didn't videotape the cutting and the cleaning and the shaping. But yeah, I think this is gonna get me through valve spring compressor with no problem. Let's stick this together. Yeah, there she goes. It'll work. Enough clearance. The only thing that I see that I may have screwed up doing is I cut that swivel off to put that 1/2 inch drive nub up there. Maybe I should have kept the swivel. I don't know. We'll see. I can change it out. All I got to do is pull this off. If I need a different size, I can take another socket and make a different size. I got a shit ton of sockets laying around, old ones that I don't use no more and that have appeared in my box over the years, but I think it'll work. Let's get set up and give it a try. Alright, I had to cut the nub off. This is like take 2. Didn't quite have enough clearance, so I cut that off and cleaned it up and rounded out. I think we got enough clearance now. Let's see if this bugger works. It certainly is not as user-friendly as a purpose-built tool would be, but let's see what we got here. Let's try to do this without bending a rod or sending a darn spring across the shop, and I'm not. Not lining up real good. Yep, I should have kept that definitely should have kept that swivel on there. That would have made it a lot easier. But look at here. Fat fingers don't get along good with this. Dun 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 dun. Guess what? It works. Not perfect, but it works. Look at there. Oh, dropped the retainer. Retainer, 2 springs. Voila! Homemade machine, homemade tool, worked great. Y'all have a good one. Now I'll go ahead and tear this head apart.